just shocked. Like, I was just shocked. I know that there's been tension in every single one of Cody's relationships during COVID for different reasons. So I knew there was tension between him and Christine, but I thought it was just because they were disagreeing about how to handle COVID. And so I kept thinking, well, this will just pass. And, hoping that everything would work out and stuff like that. And then Janelle the same way. And, his issues and tension with Mary.
Hey friends, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It is Tuesday, April 23rd, 2024. Now that the season 18 is over and we have a lull in our coverage of Sister Wives, I've been digging through archives, reading articles, doing some research for y'all, finding clips that haven't been seen before, and I've been looking at this angle of Cody and Robin's relationship and whether or not it's always been this perfect picture of perfection, right? And if Cody really is as in love with her as he claims. And while I was doing that research, I found some clips which prove that Robin knew that there was issues with Cody and his wives. And this is something that she has really denied on the show. Like, she felt that Christine and Janelle leaving was just like she was blindsided, playing dumb. But in a clip that was part of season 17, episode 1, that was airing in Australia on TLC Australia, Robin admits that she knew about all of these issues in his marriage, and Cody acknowledged that when he was kicked out of the room out of Christine's house, he was literally relieved it was over because he didn't want to be with her anymore. This has never been seen on our version of TLC's Sister Wives. And when I was digging through older archives of Robin's life and all the rumors that went around with Cody and Robin's relationship, I found a bunch of articles from 2016 with a source that's kind of shady. Her name's Kendra, but she was a friend of the Browns. And when she and Robin fell out, she started spilling what she knew to the tabloids. And Kendra has recently come back, and now she's defending Robin and using Robin's talking points, which has some people speculating that she and Robin have somehow reconciled, though I don't know. But when she and Robin were on their way out and she was fighting with Robin about money, she was spilling all of their secrets. She appeared on an episode with the wives when they were looking for dresses for their recommitment ceremony, and she traveled with them to Seattle. So she's definitely someone that was around the wives and spilled all kinds of information. So I want to cover kind of both of these topics because it kind of proves what I've been saying to you all about how Cody's always flirting with other women. He's always been looking for other wives. And just because he didn't bring on new wives doesn't mean that he wasn't trying to make things happen. And the ongoing tension that existed with the family for years, which forced a lot of this to be fake for the show, and that Cody became heavily focused on just creating storylines for the show and would do anything to keep the ratings going, which is kind of what we're seeing now, where people are like, I can't believe they're still filming. But in the eyes of Cody, he doesn't have employment that's sustainable outside of Sister Wives, and he needs the show to go on if he wants to maintain his lifestyle. So let's kind of dive into the context of these articles, and we'll also show you these clips that sort of prove Cody and Robin wrong, or make it look like Cody and Robin that is shown in the US and all the lies that they tell in the US as deceptive, but on the Australian version, they're like slipping information out.
I know that there's been tension in every single one of Cody's relationships during COVID for different reasons. So I knew there was tension between him and Christine, but I thought it was just because they were disagreeing about how to handle COVID. And so I kept thinking, well, this will just pass. And, hoping that everything would work out and stuff like that. And then Janelle the same way. And, his issues and tension with Mary.
There's something to be said about editing, but I feel like the editing done in the United States, they don't have as much time as the channels, as the content in other countries, because we have more advertising and we have more ad time per episode, and they don't have as many ads in other countries, so they get more content. But I feel like the overall message is often the same. Though I feel like sometimes things get lost in translation over here because we leave out parts where, for instance, Janelle will say that Robin knows. Like, she'll say, well, Robin knows that this is happening, and she'll just pretend like she can't remember. Like, she'll feign ignorance, and she'll just say she can't remember it happened, right? She has mentioned this multiple times, that Robin has a habit of doing this. And when you see clips like this, you can see that Robin fully understood that Cody was having serious problems with his relationships. She says she figured it would get past, but I mean, I don't think she actually figured that. She might have thought that they would just stick it out because most women in this culture do, but it's clear that she knew things were happening and she knew that relationships were wrong. And so for her to act like she didn't know about it in other clips or pretend like she was blindsided is just asinine.
And then with me and him, it's been just, he's really grumpy and hard and unhappy and struggling like crazy right now. So when he first told me that, you know, Christine said, hey, I don't want you in my room anymore, I was like, this is a big deal. And I did not see it coming. Like, I had no idea it was going down that kind of a road.
It's all boxed up. So there's boxes, my books, my clothes, my dresser.
This is all stuff from
It's
your
all
master
labeled
bedroom.
right in her room.
In one breath, she acknowledges that she knew there was serious problems in these relationships. And then in the other breath, she pretends like she was blindsided and completely shocked that this was the path it was going to go. So it's like she's playing two sides. I knew this was happening, but I was shocked it happened. You know what I mean? And it's very carefully stated here. You can tell she's very carefully marking her words. And Cody, when he starts this conversation with her, says that he often confides in Robin about his marital problems. So she's getting information about him that nobody else gets because Robin is his comfort and his safe place where he can be vulnerable, whatever, you know. That's what he said on the tell-all, and that's as far back as 2016. You know, people were telling the outlets that Cody was often constantly relying on Robin to be his sounding board and to vent to about his frustrations because she was able to understand him. I mean, she convinced him she could understand him. So she knew all of this. And then she's like, I can't believe he left, right? So you're seeing firsthand how she's lying, right? She's lying that she's surprised. Cody, who has said that he was shocked by it and was angry that she left and couldn't believe she would leave and heartbroken, then proves Janelle and Christine right that he was pushing them out the door, doing everything he could to get them to leave because in his portion of it, he says he felt relief that it was over.
I don't know, maybe it just made me feel invalidated and disavowed, like loss of any power in a relationship or anything like that. I don't even know.
I've come to realize that the US version edits out portions of Robin and Cody that don't paint them favorably and that prove that they're lying. I've found that the editors are intentionally withholding information that proves that Cody's anger has nothing to do with he's heartbroken, but rather, in his own words, he's angry that he has no power in the relationship anymore. He has no control. He wasn't heartbroken that she left. He was heartbroken or angry that he lost control, that she took his power from him. So for years, he had all the power in the relationship, believing that he could do whatever, and she would never respond. Her leaving was her taking her power back, and that's what made him enraged. It was all about control. But yet on the US version, they're constantly painting it less than that, more sympathetic, because proving that he's some sort of patriarchal dictator that is obsessed with control doesn't help their cause of trying to look like polygamy isn't the worst thing on the planet. You know, their goal was to make it look like it's benign. But his comments prove that it wasn't benign.
My first reaction was ambivalence, like almost relief. Like, she told me not to stay anymore, and she's moved my stuff out. And the relief sense was this sort of like, okay, aren't we going to do counseling? I'm going through a whole process of emotions, but I also felt some relief, like, I'm not going to have to be nagged about all the things that have been hard in this relationship for all these years.
This is a view of his misogyny and his sexism, because when you hear a man say nagging, it brings up negative connotations. Like if a woman is expressing her feelings and her thoughts about what's happening, if she needs something from her spouse, if she has a request or wants to work on something, the sexist, misogynistic, patriarchal view is that a woman is nagging over expectations that she shouldn't have and that she should just be satisfied with what she got. Nagging is a misogynistic word because women are often accused of nagging a husband that if they feel like they aren't getting a need met. So if Christine says to Cody, I really need you here more, that would be a request. But Cody would view it as a nag because she doesn't have the right to have that expectation. It's just complaining. She's not keeping sweet because women in this culture are not supposed to have expectations. They're not supposed to quote unquote nag. And you don't hear him really say nag. You're also hearing Cody say that he was relieved that he wouldn't have to deal with that anymore. Relieved that he wouldn't have to put up with her anymore. Relieved that it was finally over. Relieved that she would not remind him constantly how he wasn't living up to her expectations or the expectations that are to be a good husband. Because nothing is more insulting to Cody than someone that shines a mirror in his face and says, you are not as good a man as you think you are. He takes any bit of criticism as a personal knife in the kidney. You know what I mean? He does not like the feedback that he's not doing enough. And it's proven by an old clip where Christine said she used to be afraid to even tell him how she felt.
So when Robin came into the family, I was shocked at how many times she disagreed with you. I always just gave in. You wanted to do something, I just gave in. I was like, whatever you needed, I just did. And I didn't argue, didn't even formulate an opinion all the way. And it completely shocked me that you loved her even though she was just arguing with you.
Christine has said multiple times that she was in a one-sided marriage where she constantly had to win favor with Cody and was afraid to ever express and be who she was because it was never good enough for him and there were always complaints. And things were great in their marriage for her as long as she didn't question him, didn't form an opinion about things, and just did whatever he needed and whatever he wanted. And he adored her as long as she was kissing the ground he walked on and didn't push back. She was shocked when he met someone else in Robin who had opinions, who argued with him about those opinions and expressed a differing view than him, and he wasn't angry with her. Watching Robin push back and she realizing that he wouldn't get mad gave her a window to say, well, I can do that too. If you're going to let Robin do that, I should have that too. Because why would you expect one wife to never argue and to never express her needs, but then allow another woman to do it? That would be the actual definition of favoritism. And he stopped loving her when she stopped kissing his butt. And so now he says she's nagging him, but the truth is she's doing exactly what Robin does. He just doesn't like her.
I don't have to listen to it anymore. I don't have to feel this constant pressure of somehow doing it wrong or not meeting expectation. That was kind of where I was.
So she's home now. I'm going to go over there and just ask her why she moved me out.
I mean, he's flat out saying that he was tired of not living up to her expectations or being demanded that she had expectations. It was an inconvenience for him to have to deal with her needs. Kind of like how he said that Mary's needs were a burden. You know, if she needed something at her house, it was a burden to him. If she needed a ladder, it was a burden for him that he didn't want to have to deal with. Why do I have to get Mary a ladder? She can go get her own ladder. Cody didn't want to have to take care of the relationships because he was tired of them. And I found this old article about how he felt about Christine going back years. And it had to do with him fat shaming her and making her feel unattractive and being cruel to her. Back in 2015, for example, Radar Online spoke to a family insider who said that, quote, Cody fat shames Christine and has no problem saying he was repulsed by her when they first met. They also added that Janelle is miserable and has left Cody in the past. He wasn't in love with her when they met and got married. Christine said in season 6 about the issue with expectations, she said, I have a lot of expectations and not a lot of appreciation, to be honest. I don't know if I care if it's perfect anymore or if it's what he wants anymore. It's just so much work. That was in season 6. Christine was expressing her discomfort, her not being unhappy, and pointing out that Cody was telling her she had too many expectations and she should just appreciate what he was giving her. Cut to 2021, 2022, when they're going through their divorce. And Cody's like, thank God I don't have to deal with those expectations anymore. Thank goodness I don't have to deal with her. I'm just mad that I don't have any power, which then kind of makes it shocking that he would be so surprised that they were divorced. Like his reaction to it was news to him being divorced, which is an episode well after she moves him out. Initially, he says he's resigned, he's relieved, he's ambivalent, he's just angry that he lost his power. Cut to a few weeks later, being riled up by Robin, and he loses his mind.
We never made an official agreement. We never signed a paper. We never agreed. We never went to our church leaders and said, hey, we're divorced, or we want a divorce. You know, would they even allow us a divorce? All of a sudden, it just sank into me that she's just like, I'm leaving, so we're divorced.
So what I'm saying here with the editing is that in the US, they are allowing innuendo to fill in blanks. Viewers are to draw their own conclusions because you're not hearing Cody say, I'm mad that I don't have power. I am indifferent about the breakup. I'm just mad that she took the power. What he said there is proving that because she made a decision, he lost his power, and that's why he was mad. He was mad that she made choices without his consent. She had to ask permission. Remember, he wanted her to ask permission to leave, permission to move to Utah, permission to break up. Remember that? Because Cody wasn't mad about her leaving. He was mad about not having power. Cody was obsessed with the power he had over Christine. He didn't want her in his life to love her. He wanted to dominate her and abuse her into believing that what he was doing for her was out of love and nice. But the truth was, Christine wisened up and realized she deserved more, right? And Cody didn't care that she was leaving. He just cared that he lost the power, which you never hear him say. Only in the US you hear innuendo, but in the other versions you hear him flat out say it was power. You hear Robin flat out say, I knew he wasn't happy. And then on the US version, her pretend like she had no clue, right? They are taking out context that paints them unfavorably. And Robin wrote about this in Becoming Sister Wives. She said that when they get edits from the editors, they get to see the first rough cut and give feedback. Generally, that's how these shows work. They might not have editorial control, but they can ask certain comments be left on the cutting room floor. And a lot of times they will do that to honor the wishes. Not always, but generally. And she said she spoke to their producer a lot about not putting things in the episodes that would make her even more hated than she already is. Robin has known for a long time how people view her as a homewrecker, which is again a sexist term, and it's unfair to put that on her. But if you're wondering if Cody behind closed doors is kissing her butt, not according to Robin's friends, because again, back in 2016, one of her friends was speaking to in Life and Style, and they said he told her, you used to be considered the hot wife, and unfortunately, we really can't sell that anymore. He brought her in because she was his Diesel Jean model. His entire motives with the show is to sell a show. Robin was selling the hot wife, right? Her friend said she is seeking a spinoff. She's pretty close to the team that oversees production, and she told them, you can follow me anywhere I go. She's open about it. She was not dropping the baby weight off well enough when she first had Ariella, so he didn't like that. She was making plans to move, I guess, multiple times. She was speaking to attorneys at one point because of how unhappy she was. On the show, when she was pregnant with Ariella, Cody, in a tell-all, was he was asked about her being mouthy, and he didn't find it cute. And then she said she pushed him away the whole pregnancy, and then she had to have a baby and ask for him to come back. But in truth, it sounds like during that pregnancy, she was considering leaving him. And the friend even said that she regretted giving him legal rights to her children. Part of the reason they were having issues was because Cody was looking at other women. He had his eyes set on her niece, Mindy, for a while when she was working as a nanny. She was quoted as saying, if he takes on new wives, she will leave. This isn't what she signed up for. One source told an outlet that she joined the family believing that eventually Cody would leave his other wives and that eventually it would just be her and him. It says she's quietly consulting with attorneys, but she needs to wait until she's financially secure to leave him. She never wanted to be in a polygamous marriage, adding that her goal was for Cody to eventually part ways with the spiritual wives, Janelle, Mary, and Christine. When these rumors came out, interestingly, Cody tweeted that everything was great with Robin and he had just taken her shopping, further stating and showing that how he keeps her happy is by buying her things because she likes stuff, right? So he feels like as long as I can pay her off, we'll be fine. It's, as much as y'all don't like Robin, which I don't, in some capacity, she's always dealing with Cody wanting to move on and find someone new and do something else. He's going to treat her exactly the way he's treated the other wives. She's just newer into the relationship than they are. And she didn't have the best of intentions joining the family as the rest of them. She didn't want the whole family. She just wanted Cody. And in return, he flips out on her, fat shames her as well, also makes comments to her that she would be nothing without him. Like he gave her everything. And in a way, she wanted the legal marriage, but also in a way that legal marriage trapped her with him, as well as he gets to adopt the children, which again puts claim on the kids, making it harder for her to leave him. Cody's constantly maneuvering ways to keep the women under his control because it's all about power. Robin is a manipulator herself, but she will never outwit him because he's the one that holds all the cards. And he beats them down and gets them to fight against each other. Robin just happens to be the wife enabling him right now and giving him what he needs, so she looks like the villain. And no, she's not doing everything correctly, and no, she is manipulative, and yes, she is conniving, and yes, she can be narcissistic, all of those things. But Cody's the one that brought her in. Cody's the one that has a wandering eye. Cody's the one that was looking to marry the nanny at one point. Cody was the one that was approaching women off set, asking them to join the family for fresh meat. You do that to any woman, it's going to make them insecure. So Cody is not about love, it's about power. And Cody didn't care about Christine leaving. He cared about losing control and losing power because he didn't care that it was over. He said it. He said so. He was relieved. We didn't see that at all in season 17. Now you have. So that's all I have for now. Tell me what your thoughts are in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed. We're getting super close to 370,000 subscribers. Give this video a thumbs up and hit the notification bell so you never miss a video. Thanks for watching. Bye, guys.